You're under arrest!
This is a mistake.
Hands behind your back.
They say the badge protects the people. In Belhaven County, one sergeant's badge was a weapon he used to terrorize anyone who looked like they didn't belong, until the night he aimed it at exactly the wrong woman. What you're about to hear will make your blood boil, and then it will make you stand up and cheer. An arrogant sergeant, a terrified rookie, and a quiet woman in a faded hoodie who just wanted gas station coffee. They thought she was a drifter. They thought she was powerless. They thought they could cuff her, slam her face into a patrol car, and call it Tuesday. They were wrong. That woman was Judge Denise Alara Carter, presiding judge of the 12th Judicial Circuit. Their circuit, their boss. And in exactly 10 hours, every lie and every bruise would collapse like a condemned building, with them still inside. Thursday night, 10:07 p.m., mid-October. Temperature dropping into the low 50s. Fog settling along Route 12, the kind that softens headlights into halos. A two-pump gas station. Fluorescent lights buzzing overhead, one bulb flickering. Cracked asphalt lot. A Honda Accord at Pump 2, Virginia plates. The distant hum of a freight train. Crickets cutting in and out. The mechanical click of a gas nozzle. Diesel and damp pine drifting from the tree line. And a woman, tired, middle-aged, black, an oversized Howard University hoodie swallowing her frame. Drugstore reading glasses pushed up on her forehead. Travel-worn jeans. A paper coffee cup in one hand. No jewelry except a plain watch. She looked like someone who worked doubles and drove a car older than her ambitions. To anyone glancing from a passing patrol car, she was nobody. Just another traveler who'd be forgotten by morning. Headlights swept into the lot. A Belhaven County patrol car rolled to a stop near Pump 1. Engine idling. The driver made no move to exit, just watched. Sergeant Rick Dolan. Thick neck. Mirror sunglasses at night. A gold signet ring he tapped against the steering wheel in a slow, restless rhythm. His badge gleamed under the fluorescent lights, polished to perfection. But the eyes behind those mirrors were flat. Praising. Already deciding. The gas station attendant saw the cruiser and retreated behind the counter. A truck driver at Pump 1 quietly replaced his nozzle and drove off, tank half empty. Dolan noticed. He smiled. In the passenger seat, Officer Kyle Myers. Younger, leaner, a wedding ring he kept twisting. His eyes darted between Dolan and the woman at Pump 2. Jaw tight, posture rigid. Dolan rolled down his window. Hey Ricky, health inspection lapsed again. Be a shame if someone filed that. The attendant froze. Dolan winked. Then his gaze drifted to the Honda. Virginia plates. Howard hoodie. His smile widened. He'd already decided what she was before he opened his door. Dolan's boots crunched across the asphalt. Slow. Deliberate. A flashlight beam found her face. Unnecessary under the fluorescent lights, but that wasn't the point. Evening, ma'am. The word came out honeyed. His tone said something else entirely. License and registration, sweetheart. Let's make this quick. She handed them over with steady fingers. He barely glanced at them. Virginia plates. Long way from home. What brings you through Belhaven this time of night? Visiting the area for work. What kind of work? Legal work. He snorted. The sound was wet, dismissive. Step out of the vehicle. What's the reason, Sergeant? He stepped closer. Close enough that she could smell stale coffee and cheap cologne. I'm the reason. Behind him, Myers shifted his weight. He said nothing. She stepped out. Dolan searched the Honda without consent. He tossed her overnight bag onto wet asphalt. Found her leather briefcase. Flipped it open. Legal documents spilled out, including a cream-colored envelope bearing the seal of the Commonwealth of Virginia. The judicial appointment letter. He held it up, squinting. What's this, your law degree from the internet? He laughed alone. Dropped the briefcase into a puddle. Ma'am, have you been drinking tonight? No. Your eyes say different. My eyes say I'm tired, Sergeant. There's a difference. Something flickered behind his sunglasses. He removed them. The eyes beneath were pale, flat, the color of dishwater. He dropped his voice low. You people always have an answer for everything, don't you? The words hung in cold air. Her jaw tightened. 1 degree. Myers studied his boots. Dolan turned. Her coffee cup sat on the hood. His hand swept across. The cup tumbled. Coffee splashed across the asphalt, soaking her scattered documents. Oops, clumsy me. She watched the coffee pool. I'd like your badge number, Sergeant. His face changed. His hand shot to her shoulder. Spun her. His other hand found the back of her neck. He drove her forward. Crack. Her forehead split against the patrol car hood. Silence swallowed everything. The attendant dropped below the counter. Myers stumbled backward, mouth open. Blood welled from a split above her left eyebrow, running into the corner of her eye. She didn't cry out. She went still. When she spoke, her voice had dropped an octave. I will remember every second of this. He wrenched her arms back. Handcuffs ratcheted around her wrists. 2 clicks too tight. Disorderly conduct and resisting. He shoved her toward the patrol car. Should have cooperated, sweetheart. Sarge. Myers' voice cracked. Maybe we should. Want to write reports forever, Myers? Shut up. Open the door. Myers obeyed. As she ducked inside, he leaned close. I'm sorry, he whispered. The door slammed. She could have ended it. 3 words. I'm a judge. But she understood something Dolan never would. The difference between winning a moment and winning a case. If she revealed herself now, he'd apologize. File a report. The complaint would vanish like the 14 before it. But if she let this play out, she wouldn't catch one officer. She'd catch the infection. Blood dripped onto her Howard hoodie. Each drop a timestamp. She was building a case. And Sergeant Dolan was handing her every brick. The patrol car smelled of leather and old sweat. Blood from her eyebrow had begun to dry, tight, pulling at her skin with each blink. Dolan drove with one hand. The other drummed against the steering wheel, gold signet ring catching light from passing street lamps. He talked like a man performing for an audience. You know what Route 12 used to be? Corridor. Every drifter, every dealer, every piece of trash drifting up from the city thought they could just roll through. He glanced in the rearview mirror. Not anymore. I cleaned the stretch. Me. 14 years of taking out the garbage. Carter's eyes moved methodically. Badge number, 1147. Dashboard clock, 10:34 p.m. Patrol car number on the radio mount, Unit 7. Myers' nameplate in the rearview, K. Myers. Got some fancy ceremony tomorrow, Dolan continued. New presiding judge coming in. Another diversity hire, probably. Whole courthouse has to show up and clap like trained seals. He laughed. In the back seat, behind the cage, Judge Denise Alara Carter memorized every syllable. Every word out of Dolan's mouth was a bullet. He just didn't know he was loading her gun. Myers stared through the windshield. His thumb worked the wedding ring in slow circles. Sarge. His voice came out thin. Maybe we could let this one go with a warning. No harm, no. You want to be a hero, Myers? Dolan didn't look over. Heroes don't get backup when they call at 3 a.m. Remember that. Silence. Myers thought of his pregnant wife. The nursery they'd just finished painting. He said nothing else. The station appeared through the fog. Squat brick building. Buzzing sign with 2 dead letters. A holding area that smelled like bleach and regret. Sergeant Dolan marched his prisoner through the doors like a hunter displaying a trophy. He had no idea he'd just dragged a loaded cannon into his own living room. Elena Vasquez kept a small potted succulent on her booking desk. Next to it, a photo of her daughter in a quinceañera dress. Small rebellions against the bleach and concrete. She looked up as Dolan shoved his prisoner toward the counter. Ma'am, can I get you some water? Her voice was warm, practiced. Let me get this processed quick. Her eyes found the split above Carter's eyebrow. The dried blood, the bruising purpling along her hairline. Her gaze flicked to Dolan just for a moment and something flickered there. Something she buried fast. She'd seen this before. Dolan leaned against the counter. Book her for the VIP suite, Elena. The one with the busted heater. He laughed. Myers stood by the door. Silent. Elena guided Carter's fingers onto the scanner. Pressed each one gently. The machine hummed. Beep. Normal. Beep beep beep. Different. Higher. Urgent. Elena's eyes snapped to the screen. The border flashed red. A banner cascaded across the display. Priority judicial personnel. Security clearance flagged. And beneath it, a name, a title, an appointment. Presiding Judge of the 12th Judicial Circuit. Swearing-in ceremony. Belhaven County Courthouse. Tomorrow, 9 in the morning. Elena's face drained. Not all at once, in stages. Cheeks first, then lips. Her breath caught mid-inhale. Her hand pulled back from the keyboard like it was burning. She looked at Carter, at the split eyebrow, at Dolan still chuckling. Her hands began to shake. "Excuse me." She walked to the back. Carter watched her go. Waited. 3 minutes later, Elena returned. Dolan was refilling coffee in the break room. "Your Honor." Barely a whisper. "I need to call." "You're not going to call anyone." "But, what's your name?" "Elena Vasquez." "Elena, do exactly what you do for anyone else. Process me. Book me. Put me in that cell. At 7 a.m., bring my garment bag." Elena stared. "Tonight, I'm not, Your Honor. Tonight, I'm just a woman in a cell. And I need to see exactly how this place treats a woman in a cell." Elena swallowed. Carter leaned closer. "If he'd known who I was, he never would have done this. He did it because he thought I was no one. That is the problem I'm here to fix." Elena glanced at the clock. 11:12 p.m. 9 hours and 48 minutes. She walked back to her desk, placed her shaking hands flat on the keyboard. In cell 4, the most powerful person in the building sat on a metal bench with blood drying on her face. In the break room, Sergeant Rick Dolan poured himself a coffee and told another joke. The hours passed in sensory shifts. Fluorescent lights buzzed louder as the station emptied. The heating system clicked on at midnight, a mechanical groan, then nothing. A freight train moaned through at 2 a.m., distant and mournful. The silence changed. Busy quiet became dead-of-night quiet. A clock on the wall ticked, each tick a step closer. Carter didn't sleep. She listened. From her cell, she heard Dolan process a drunk man at 1:15 a.m. Same pet names. Same casual cruelty. "Easy there, buddy. Don't make me get creative." Pattern confirmed. She heard 2 officers in the hallway at 3 a.m., voices low. "The complaint files? Lost. Same as always. Systemic." She heard radio chatter at 4:30. Domestic call. Backup delayed 22 minutes. She noted the time. She wasn't imprisoned. She was conducting a judicial inspection. Every observation was a future reform. Elena checked on her twice. Brought a clean cloth for her eyebrow. Brought water. "Are you sure about this?" "I've never been more sure of anything." Elena left a blanket. Carter hadn't asked. At 6:30 a.m., Dolan passed the cells. Dress uniform draped over his arm. He stopped at her bars. "Hope you enjoyed the hospitality, sweetheart." She said nothing. "Got a big day today. New judge coming in. Real big deal." He rolled his eyes. "Maybe I'll put in a good word for you. Get your case heard fast." He winked. Then he was gone. 20 minutes later, Elena arrived with the garment bag. "Ceremony starts at 9. East Corridor. I'll unlock the holding door at 8:30. Carter nodded. "And Elena, make sure Sergeant Dolan is in the front row. He's earned that seat." Elena glanced at the clock. 2 hours and 26 minutes. Her hands had stopped shaking. She squared her shoulders. Something had changed in her, too. At 8:15 a.m., Dolan passed the cell block one last time. Dress uniform pressed. Badge gleaming. He paused at cell 4's window and straightened his tie in the reflection. His eyes never moved to the woman on the bench behind the glass. To him, she was furniture. "Let's get this circus over with," he said to Myers. "Smile. Clap. Back on patrol by noon." Their footsteps faded. At 8:30 a.m., a metallic clang echoed through the corridor. Elena stood at the open door. Garment bag in one hand. Personal bag in the other. "Restroom at the end of the hall, Your Honor." Carter paused at the threshold. "Thank you, Elena. For the water. The blanket. For being the only decent person in this building." Elena's eyes filled. Didn't spill. She nodded. In the restroom, Carter removed the hoodie slowly. Howard University letters stretched and compressed. She folded it carefully, didn't discard it. It went into the bag with respect. Jeans came off. Sneakers. Each piece a layer of disguise falling away. She turned on the faucet. Water ran pink with dried blood. She looked in the mirror. Split eyebrow. Swollen. Purple and yellow blooming. The woman staring back looked nothing like a judge. She looked like a survivor. She opened her personal bag. Foundation. Concealer. Setting powder. She picked up the concealer. Held it. Put it down. She wanted them to see it. She wanted him to see it. Every purple edge. Every dried crack. The bruise would testify before she said a single word. The wound was no longer victimhood. It was a weapon. White-collared blouse. Every button fastened like a verdict being sealed. Black judicial robe. Pulled on like armor, heavy with meaning. The zipper drawn up, a sound like a sword unsheathed. Pearl earrings, dignity was never decorative. Judicial credential lanyard, the 12th Circuit seal settling against her chest like a heartbeat. Finally, her reading glasses, the same ones from the gas station. The same ones Dolan had sneered at 12 hours ago. She checked her watch. 8:51 a.m. 9 minutes. Through the walls. Chairs scraping, voices gathering, murmur of 200 people assembling. A microphone tested. Feedback whined and cut. Judge Denise Alara Carter looked at herself one final time. The bruise vivid against dark skin. Unmissable. Unexplainable. Unforgivable. She smoothed her robe. Straightened her shoulders. It was time. Belhaven County Courthouse main hall. Wood-paneled walls. Flags flanking the podium. 212 people, officers, clerks, lawyers, media in back. Front row center, Sergeant Rick Dolan. He leaned toward Myers. $10 says she can't pronounce jurisprudence. Myers didn't laugh. Pale. Hand on wedding ring. Dolan snorted. Another activist gone in 6 months. This county eats outsiders alive. The administrator stepped forward. 22-year career, rigorous standards, zero-tolerance approach to misconduct. Dolan shifted. Zero tolerance landed wrong. Please rise. Chairs scraped. 200 stood. The Honorable Denise Alara Carter. The east door opened. Silence entered first. Pressure change. Air vacuumed from lungs. She walked in. Measured. Unhurried. Robe like liquid authority. Shoulders back. Chin level. Credential seal catching light. But the face. Purple and yellow bruise. Split eyebrow. Swollen. Every eye pulled toward it. A federal judge with fresh wounds. Confusion rippled. She reached the podium. Stood. Scanned row by row. Her eyes reached the front. Stopped. Myers recognized first. Mouth open. No sound. Face like wet paper. Dolan's recognition came slower. Political smile forming. Then freezing. Cracking. His brain reconciling. Hoodie. Gas station. Howard letters. Sweetheart. Coffee on asphalt. Patrol car hood. Blood. Cuffs. The woman at pump 2. The woman he'd slammed into his car. The woman he'd told about the diversity hire. Standing at the podium. Judicial robes. His bruise on her face. Color drained in stages. Mouth. Cheeks. Forehead. Jaw slack. Stance widening. Carter spoke. Level. Precise. I can see you've noticed my face. The room held breath. I didn't receive this in judicial duty. Not a car accident. Not at home. Each negation tightening the room. I received it at a gas station on Route 12, 10:15 last night, buying coffee. Pause. I was stopped without cause, searched without consent, racially profiled, verbally demeaned, physically assaulted by this county's law enforcement, then arrested on fabricated charges and held in this building's cells overnight. Gasps. A notepad dropped. This happened because of my skin color, assumptions about my clothing, and unchecked arrogance of a man who believed his badge made him untouchable. Silence. Sergeant Dolan. His name like an X. Heads turned. Stand up. He couldn't move. I said stand. He stood. Barely. Shaking. Last night, you called me sweetheart. Asked what my kind was doing here. Told your partner. You people always have an answer. Knocked coffee from my hand. Said, oops. Called the new judge a diversity hire. Each quote a detonation. The room flinching. If you'd known I was a judge, you'd have saluted, called me Your Honor, offered escort. But because I was a black woman in a hoodie, you decided I was guilty of existing. Her voice dropped. The law doesn't require power to deserve human treatment. She turned to Myers. Officer Myers, is this accurate? Dolan's eyes burned into him. Promise of protection for denial. Myers shaking. Wedding ring. Pregnant wife. 3 a.m. backup. He looked at Dolan. Carter. At 200 witnesses. Yes, Your Honor. Everything is true. Voice cracking. And it wasn't the first time. He's done it before. I've seen it. Carter nodded. Sergeant Dolan. Badge. Weapon. Keys. On this table. Now. You can't. 18 years. 15 seconds. Shaking hands unpinned the badge. Clattered. Weapon followed. Keys. Patrol car. Station. His kingdom. You are relieved of duties. Effective immediately. Pending criminal investigation. The east door opened. 2 IA officers. State investigator. Charges. Assault under color of authority. False arrest. Racial profiling. False report. Cuffs clicked around Dolan's wrists. The same metallic bite from 12 hours earlier. But regulation. Professional. Dolan screamed. This is MY County. I built. Carter quiet. I can. 2 words against howling. She turned to the room. Officer Myers, Chambers, 1100 hours. To everyone, I came to serve justice. Not protecting the powerful. The kind holding mirrors to badges asking, would you behave this way unwatched? If yes, nothing to fear. If no, I'm your problem now. She touched her bruise. 1 fingertip. Dismissed. Judge Carter's chambers still smelled like lemon polish. Bookshelves empty. Boxes stacked against walls. The garment bag from the cell draped over a chair, a reminder. Quiet after the spectacle. Elena Vasquez entered first. Nervous. Hands clasped. She'd never been in a judge's chambers before. Sit, please. Elena sat. Last night, you offered me water before you knew my name. You brought me a clean cloth without being asked. You treated me with dignity when you thought I was nobody. Carter leaned forward. That is why I'm recommending you for the civilian commendation and a transfer to the court clerk's office with a raise. Elena's eyes filled. I didn't do anything special, Your Honor. That's exactly the point. You shouldn't be special. But in this building last night it was. Carter's voice softened. And that tells me everything about how far we have to go. Elena nodded, wiped her eyes, left with her head higher. Myers entered next. Red-eyed. Tie loosened. He'd been crying. He sat across from her. Carter didn't soften her voice for him. I can recommend termination and accessory charges. You participated in a false arrest and said nothing while a federal judge was assaulted. That's your career, your pension, possibly your freedom. Myers swallowed. Or you can testify, fully, against Dolan and the culture that created him. Internal Affairs needs your deposition. The state attorney needs your testimony. You'll break the blue wall. Some colleagues will call you traitor. Some won't speak to you again. Silence stretched. My wife is pregnant. If I lose this job, if you keep this job by staying silent, what kind of father will you be? What will you tell your child when they ask what you did when you saw something wrong? Myers looked at his hands. At the wedding ring he'd twisted all night. The other officers, they'll shut me out. Dolan has friends. Carter's voice turned to steel. The good ones will respect you, and I will protect you. That is not a suggestion. That is a judicial guarantee. Myers sat for a long moment. Then, I'll testify. All of it. Everything I've seen. Not just last night. Everything. He stood. Taller than he'd stood in 3 years. Carter nodded. Officer Myers, the blue wall isn't a wall. Walls protect people. What you've been living behind is a cage. It kept bad officers safe and good officers silent. She stood as well. We're tearing it down. Starting today. 6 weeks compressed into headlines. Dolan posted bail. Hired a lawyer. Launched a media campaign. Activist judge targets veteran officer. Local talk radio amplified it. A GoFundMe appeared. Thin blue line flags on truck bumpers. Anonymous threats on courthouse steps. The counter-narrative spread. Carter baited him. Dressed down to provoke. Wanted arrest. The system protecting its own. Carter didn't engage. No press conferences. No social media. She arrived first every morning. Left last every night. Every ruling precise. Every case prepared. She let her competence be her defense. Her bruise healed. The scar remained. State criminal courthouse. Crowds packed the gallery. Thin blue-line supporters clustered together. Dolan's family in front. Media cameras lining the back. Dolan at the defense table in a suit, no uniform. Diminished without it. Judge Warren Kemp presiding. Silver-haired. No nonsense. First witness. Ricky Morales. Gas station attendant. Nervous. Hands ringing. He testified the stop, the search, the slam. Defense attacked. 2 prior misdemeanors, correct? Back taxes. Ricky held. I know what I saw. I've seen it before. He does this. Prosecution. How many times have you seen Sergeant Dolan stop people on Route 12? Stopped counting after 30. Murmurs rippled. Second witness. Judge Denise Alara Carter. Clinical precision. Badge 1147. Dashboard clock 10:34 p.m. Exact words. Smell of leather. Temperature of cell 4. Defense stood. You could have identified yourself any time. You chose not to. You conducted a sting operation. Carter's voice level. Counselor, are you suggesting citizens must present credentials to avoid assault? That constitutional protection requires a resume. She paused. I didn't stop him because the law doesn't require importance for dignity. That's the standard. Not who I am, what he did. You could have prevented your injury. He could have simply not committed it. The badge isn't a license to brutalize people who inconvenience you. Third witness. Kyle Myers. Whispers erupted. Civilian clothes. Eagle Scout pin on his lapel. He sat. Cleared his throat. Yes, I was a coward. I want to say that first. Silence swallowed the room. Dolan withheld backup from officers who questioned him. Controlled shifts. Buried complaints. He faced the jury. He told me once, in this county I am the law. Judges come and go. I stay. He listed victims. Names. Dates. Years of pattern. I'm not testifying to save my career. That might be over. His voice cracked. I'm testifying to save my soul. In 6 months, I'll be a father. I refuse to teach my child that silence before cruelty equals courage. Even the thin blue line section went quiet. Dolan exploded, fist slamming the table. He's a liar. I made him. I trained him. Kemp's gavel cracked. Control yourself or be removed. Dolan's lawyer grabbed his arm. Dolan shook free, face crimson, veins bulging, jaw locked. The jury watched. The same rage Carter described. The calm professional narrative disintegrating live. The outburst was the verdict. Bailiffs pulled Dolan back. Kemp announced deliberations. 47 minutes later, the jury returned. Not long enough for gallery coffee to cool. The foreperson stood. The room held its breath. On the count of assault under color of authority, guilty. On the count of false arrest, guilty. On the count of filing a false police report, guilty. On the count of racial profiling in violation of state civil rights statute, guilty. For hammer blows, the word guilty repeating like a heartbeat stopping. Dolan slumped. Not dramatically. Worse than that, he deflated. Like a tire with a slow leak. The bluster, the bulk, the bravado emptying out through an invisible hole. His lawyer's hand found his shoulder. Dolan didn't react. In the gallery, his wife stood, already putting on sunglasses. She picked up her purse. Didn't look at him. Walked up the aisle. Through the double doors. They closed with a soft, final click. Judge Kemp spoke. Sergeant Dolan, your attorney called you a pillar of the community. Pillars hold things up, Sergeant. You crushed people beneath your weight. You are not a pillar. You are a ruin. Pause. 7 years. State Correctional Facility. The number stood alone. As bailiffs led him out, Dolan turned to his lawyer. Whispered, you can't let them put me in general population. They'll know I was a cop. You can't. He was afraid. The man who made others afraid now begging for protection from the exact treatment he inflicted. 7 years. But for Rick Dolan, the real sentence started long before prison. It started the moment he discovered that the world treats powerless men exactly the way he treated powerless people. State prison. No uniform, orange jumpsuit. No badge. Inmate number 0871D. No sergeant. Just Dolan. No gold signet ring confiscated. He ate when told. Slept when told. Walked when told. Prison cafeteria. Dolan carried a tray. A correctional officer monitored the room. A black woman, built like confidence. Dolan tried cutting in line. Old habits. She stepped in front of him. Back of the line, sweetheart. The exact same pet name. Roles reversed. Dolan's mouth opened. She didn't blink. I'm sorry, did I stutter? Back of the line. He shuffled to the back. Head down. Tray shaking. The cafeteria laughed. Not cruelty, just honest amusement watching arrogance meet gravity. During investigation after trial, Internal Affairs uncovered more. Dolan had planted evidence in 3 prior arrests on Route 12. 2 convictions overturned. One man, Marcus Elroy, served 14 months for possession Dolan fabricated. The planted baggie appeared on body cam footage Dolan thought erased. Additional charges filed. 7 years became 12. Rick Dolan spent 18 years making people feel powerless. Now he lived inside the feeling, and there was no badge that could get him out. But outside those walls, the story wasn't ending. It was transforming. Dolan, serving 12 years. Appeal denied. His name now a case study in police misconduct training. Myers, completed retraining. Transferred to community outreach. His testimony sparked department-wide reforms. His daughter was born in March. He named her Denise. Elena Vasquez, promoted to senior court clerk. Still keeps a potted plant on her desk. Still offers water to everyone who walks through her door. Judge Carter, in 18 months, she implemented mandatory body camera audits, civilian oversight boards, anonymous reporting systems. 12 officers retrained. 3 removed. Complaint filings tripled because people finally believed someone would listen. 2 years later, Thursday night, October, Judge Carter drives Route 12. Same Honda Accord. Same stretch of road. She passes the gas station repainted, new lights. Doesn't stop. Doesn't need to. But she slows. Looks at where it happened. The asphalt where coffee spilled. Where everything changed. Dolan had said, "In this county, I am the law." Carter, looking ahead, "No one is the law. It belongs to everyone. Badge or no badge. Hoodie or robe." She drives on. Past the courthouse. Past the station, where a young officer holds the door for a woman with groceries. Says, "Have a good evening, ma'am." Not from obligation. Not from fear. Just because it was right. Character isn't what you show the powerful. Character is what you show people you think can do nothing for you. This story isn't about rank. It isn't about revenge. It's about a truth most people forget. How you treat people when you think no one important is watching is who you really are. Sergeant Rick Dolan is currently in year 3 of his 12-year sentence. Judge Denise Carter still serves the 12th Circuit, and Belhaven County hasn't had a single civil rights complaint upheld in 14 months. Let me ask you, in this story, would you have been a Dolan, a Myers, or an Elena? Be honest. Drop your answer in the comments. If this moved you, hit like. It helps others find this. Subscribe for more stories like this. Thank you for watching all the way through. I'll see you in the next one.